How we doing, everybody? Chef Vince here, coming from sunny Miami, Florida, here at the Pritikin Longevity Center. Kara and I, our dietitian, want to show you how to make this yummy, delicious blackened snapper today. We're going to pair that up with a fruit salsa. Stay tuned. We're going to keep the calories down with the flavor up.
Better is better. Progress is progress.
All right, so what are we making today, Kara?
Chef, I am so excited that we are doing salsas today because, in my opinion, salsas make everything taste better.
Yeah.
Salsa reminds me of summer.
Especially a fruit salsa, right?
Especially a fruit salsa.
So we have lots of different fruit to choose from. Mango, papaya, strawberries, throw it all together.
The colors of the rainbow.
Exactly, right?
And by the way, I just want to say, like, you can use whatever fruit that you have. They're really, you don't have to go special to the grocery store to get these specific fruits.
Yeah.
Just use what you have in your fridge.
Let's make sure it's a ripe fruit. You know, if you're using mango or papaya, make sure they're ripe, because if they're hard as a rock, they're not going to be as enjoyable.
But also to be careful not to be overripe, because then it kind of gets all mushy and gushy, right?
Correct. You could try using apples. You could try using pineapple. You could try using cantaloupe. You can even use watermelon. You have lots of different fruits to choose from. We're going to pair up this fruit salsa with a blackened snapper. So when people usually use a blackening spice, they're probably not making their own. If you're buying a pre-made blackening spice, it's going to have probably salt in there. So
absolutely,
we'll make our own without salt. What do you need to make blackening spice? Basically, these seasonings that I have here. Start off with the main one, which is paprika. If you want to use smoked paprika or a combination of regular and smoked, you know, it gives you a little bit more balance. I'm just using regular sweet paprika.
Oh, good.
Right?
I'm not a fan of the smoke, to be honest.
It's a little of it.
It's got a strong, either you like it or you don't, right?
If you are going to use smoked paprika, I always just add a little bit with the regular paprika.
Right,
just
a little bit goes a long way.
It's pretty overpowering.
It's overwhelming, yeah.
When you're making a blackening spice, you're going to start off with probably paprika, right? That's what I have here as the base. We're also going to use a little bit of granulated onion. I prefer to use granulated onion and granulated garlic as opposed to powdered. The reason being is it's a little bit more coarse. Most people won't really notice it, but it doesn't cake up on you. If you ever find like onion or garlic powder comes one big brick, it's because your humidity in Florida will really get to it. Just in general, you know, it just winds up clumping up. So if you're gonna come here to Pritikin, we'll show you how to make lots of different good things. This is gonna be one of them with our blackened snapper. So I have a little bit of granulated garlic going in there as well. We're also gonna add a little bit of dry basil. We're gonna add a little bit of dry oregano. We're also gonna make it a little spicier by adding some cayenne pepper. If you want to add like dry thyme in here, you can. If you want to add other spices like ground up bell pepper in here, dehydrated, it can be nice. This is black pepper. And again, we're making way more than we need, but you can make a big batch of this and keep it in the pantry.
Yeah, no, I do that. I think that's a great idea. You can make your own spice blends and you can customize them. And I think the good thing about the ground spice is that it lasts longer. I mean, the fresh ones like the cilantro or the basil, whatever we're using, will, you know, give a good punch of flavor, but it goes bad. So
you can't keep it in there.
Can't
for
keep
more
it
than
a long
week or
time.
So if you're going to use dry herbs or as opposed to fresh, you just have to know what you're going to use them for. They're not always interchangeable for everything. Now, this is our base. If you want to add a sweet component, most blackening spices have brown sugar. Not all of them, but
not here at the Pritikin Center.
Not here at Pritikin Center. So if you wanted to kind of replicate that, you could add something like date sugar into there, right?
Love
or like
it.
something like maple sugar to give that little pinch of sweetness to it. So we will add a little bit into there. And again, this is just some date sugar that we'll put in here. You can see that we're adding a little bit. But it's
Right.
not gonna
And honestly, like if you want to get a little sweet in there, using something like a date sugar is a really good idea because it does add a little bit of sugar, but it's very diluted in the rest of the spices.
Correct.
And you're actually getting health benefits from dates as opposed to using a refined brown sugar or white sugar. So
I'm all for it.
I love it, Chef.
Could you
I
pass
love
my
it.
cooking spray there, please?
Sure can.
So what we'll do here is, we'll spray the pan if you wanted to. And that way, if you're doing a lot more than just one piece, you could actually season the pan and the seasoning doesn't move around because you sprayed it. This way, when I drop the fish on there, now it's already seasoned on one side, as opposed to having to flip it over. You know, we're only doing 2 pieces here, but not big.
Efficiency at its best, Chef.
Yeah.
Good
Don't
way
double
to
dip
go.
your raw fish hand into the seasoning. You'll cross-contaminate. We don't want to do that. So
Then you can't reuse your seasoning, right?
You can't reuse your seasoning. Well, you can, but you'd have to be stored in the fridge or in the freezer and can only be used for the next couple of days. You know, just don't do that. Just don't cross-contaminate.
Just don't do it.
So usually people give a pretty heavy coating of seasoning when you're doing a blackening spice. So we'll really kind of load that onto there.
And the good news is because there's no salt or sugar or fat in this.
Well, a little date sugar.
A little date sugar, yeah. But you could load it on up and not have the guilt associated with loading on the spice.
Yeah.
And these spices are all great, anti-inflammatory, good for the immune system, all good stuff.
Nice.
And adding some great
spray
flavor.
again, please.
Yes.
So we'll see how hot the pan is. It might be too hot. We might have to cool it down a little bit. That's actually perfect. That's what you want it to be. A little smoke coming off there. That fish is going to get dropped right onto there.
Gonna sizzle.
This is about a 5-ounce piece of snapper here, maybe a little heavier, but we recommend having no more than about 4 to 5 ounces of edible protein in a day. Why is that, Kara?
Well, one of the things we have to be careful of if cholesterol is elevated, cardiovascular disease, is that we want to be really careful with the amount of cholesterol and saturated fat. Plants have neither nor. No saturated fat, no cholesterol, and loaded with fiber. Excellent for cardiovascular health, diabetes, just excellent for overall health. So, we're primarily a plant-based program, but we do like to include a little bit of animal in there to change it up. And there are some really good, good sources of protein easily obtained in an animal protein. You just don't need a lot of it.
Correct.
So,
and when we choose to use animal protein here, it's going to be usually that lean fish
lean
option.
Fish.
If you want to use chicken breast, to do the same type of thing and do a blackened chicken breast, that's all good. So
they all work.
For the fruit sauce.
We can't wait to welcome you to the Pritikin Longevity Center this summer. Be a part of our world-renowned program and enjoy our lowest rates in years. We're making some exciting improvements to our facility from August 6th through September 17th. During this time, our guests will continue to enjoy the lush grounds and world-class amenities of the Trump National Doral. Guests will remain engaged in the program in our temporary location, steps away from their deluxe accommodations. All at a price that is 40% off our high season rate. Our temporary facilities will be comfortable, luxurious, and convenient for you to experience the life-changing Pritikin program. The prices offered during the renovation will never be matched again. Book a consult today to learn more about these great low rates while they last. Come experience for yourself what over 100,000 people have learned, that Pritikin will change your life for the better.
Now, whatever you want to use in here, it's up to you. Here I have one big papaya. Let's see. This feels ripe. Has a little,
Is it like you can press on it, right?
It has
That's
a
how
little
you know.
springiness to it. It's kind of like a mango. It doesn't really get as soft, right, when it's ripe. But it does have a little bounce to it. So that's kind of what you're looking for. You might have some spots over here that are a little kind of overripe. That's fine. To make this easy and quick to peel, we'll just cut the top and bottom off. We'll go ahead and peel the whole thing, the skin off. Now,
It's also, you could tell it's a soft cut, so it's not. You could tell it's not hard.
Correct.
As you're cutting down.
Yep.
So if you're having a hard time cutting it down, it's probably not ripe yet.
Now, have you ever cut a papaya before?
Huh? You know what? No. The answer
you know
is
what they
no.
look like on the inside? Looks
Let's
like
check it out.
The caviar are almost on the inside.
Oh, it's got like
I'll show you.
little eggs in it.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is actually cut thin slices around it. Usually you cut this in half, cut it in quarters, and I'll demonstrate that in a second. But if I want really nice dices.
Oh, there they are.
I'm
Yeah.
going to actually imagine this just being half of a papaya. This actually has not many seeds. You have half a papaya. This is all still usable, but I'm looking just to get these thin slices for my fruit sauce, right? Now I can stack this up, set little slices, go the opposite way, it's diced up quick and easy. If I was to cut a papaya as I normally would, where you're cutting it in quarters like this, you're going to have a longer, harder time getting those wide slabs like that I have
I see
here.
what you're
This
saying.
takes you longer, right? So this is all usable here, chopped up any which way you want. That snapper needs to get flipped over, so I'm going to spray it before I do that. That way, when I flip it over, there's some sort of barrier that it goes onto. Using a fish spatula allows you to have a good amount of flexibility without trying to
break it up.
get a spatula that's really rigid under there.
Nice. What's also so nice about the spice is it gives it such a nice crispy texture.
Yeah.
So only, I mean, how many minutes was that, Chef?
Wasn't that long at all? I mean,
No,
I'd
maybe
say,
like 3-4 minutes.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
We had a little stickage there. But
Okay, you're human. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
That's
it's all
where the
good.
fruit salsa goes. You hide your little blemishes with the fruit salsa, right?
Absolutely.
deal.
And normally, what would be another thing you would put on a fish? Like I see when I go to restaurants and other people's homes, they put like very creamy or mayonnaise-y type of dips that go on top of the fish. So
Very much, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So what's so awesome about the salsa is that you're getting something super watery and fibrous and very vibrant in flavor. So you're actually not adding a whole bunch of calories to your fish,
Correct.
but you're getting some awesome flavor, and it's pretty filling too, because the water and the fiber fills you up. So that's why I'm super excited about the salsa, because I think it's super versatile. You could put it on protein. You could put it on a baked potato.
Yep.
You could add it to your salad. You actually can use it as a salad dressing. You don't even need a salad dressing. So many opportunities that you could utilize your salsa.
I agree.
So make enough for a couple days, guys.
Now, realize this, once you start putting the citrus on there, it will start kind of breaking the fruit down a little bit though, right? So when you start adding the lemon and lime, that acid tends to kind of start deteriorating the fruit, not the next morning, but over time you will start,
So you think 3 days is a good
3
amount?
days is pretty much it, yeah.
That's it.
Honestly,
Okay.
the next day is probably the best day because all the fruit's kind of time to kind of
It's
really
like
marinate
marinated.
together. Yep.
Yep. The flavors join together. They get married.
Correct.
Have a ceremony. Awesome.
So when we're using a mango, it's kind of the same idea as the papaya, where we want to have a little springiness to it, a little bounce to it, not to be mushy, but not to be hard as a rock either.
Nice color.
There's a big awkward kind of pit in the center of this mango. So I'm kind of cutting right off from the center. And as soon as I get to the actual center, you can't cut any longer. There's a little bit more meat on this side, but most people just chew on this mango and eat the rest of it at this stage here. So that snapper is probably just about done. So I'll pull that out in just
You need
one
this
moment.
plate?
Yes, please.
One thing I want to mention, people have a lot of questions about fruit. Like, fruit is healthy. It is a very healthy choice. It's a whole food. It's watery. It's fibrous. It's got lots of health properties to it. But one thing I want everyone to realize about fruit is that it has 3 components. It has water, it has fiber, and it has sugar. The sugar is natural. But if you have any issues with insulin resistance, prediabetes or diabetes, which a lot of people that come to Pritikin do have some issues with that, fruit is not free. Okay, especially fruits that are tropical fruits like the mango. They tend to be a little bit more sugary than things like berries. So just kind of know that not all fruits are created equal. So when you are eating the tropical fruits, they're going to be a little bit more sugary than some of the other ones. So just maybe go a little bit lighter on those if you have any issues
Actually,
with blood
Just
sugar.
feeling it.
A little bit longer?
30 more seconds, actually. You just feel this right here. You say it has a lot of kind of pushback. You're looking for a little more firmness, right?
Yeah, and I also can see inside. It doesn't look completely cooked.
Thank you,
there.
Captain Obvious. I see it too.
Okay. I got my new eyes now. I can see so much better.
She recently got some eye
some new
surgery done,
lenses.
so
Yeah.
she
No
has
more glasses for me. Yay.
a whole new perspective on things.
Yeah, everything looks so much brighter. So strawberries, the best.
Strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, throw whatever sort of berries in there. Try to get some pine berries if you can find them, or gooseberries, and put those into there. One thing you have to realize is if you put blackberries, it's going to make the dressing look very dark and very ugly.
Okay, so we don't want dark and ugly.
I mean, you can, but just realize that. They start kind of muddied down and they really just doesn't look as presentable when you start putting things like raspberry or blackberry especially.
Okay, good to know. But I'm telling you, the berries, in terms of fruit, are top notch. Okay, really deep dark color, high in antioxidant value. In terms of its sugar content, it is actually a fair amount lower than your mango right there.
Okay.
So really good idea to mix in some berries, not the blackberries and the raspberries, because we don't want it to look ugly, but strawberries I would definitely add to my salsas.
Absolutely.
You could have more of those.
And you can get those nice kind of dices with these big strawberries. They kind of replicate the same dices that you're getting here with the papaya and the mango. So if you're looking for that consistency, certainly the strawberry helps deliver on that. So we're just about there. I'm gonna pull that out in just a second. I'll cut one more thing, like an
Looks
avocado
better.
here.
Avocado. So
It's
interesting.
your favorite here, right?
It is. Avocado is my favorite. It is not something that we use often here at the Pritikin Center, mostly because of the caloric density of the avocado. Rolling pit, but
Thanks.
But the avocado adds a really awesome flavor to the salsa, and it's what I call the vegetarian's mayo. It's really smooth and creamy.
Yeah.
It gives a really nice mouthfeel, and it is actually great for you in terms of heart health, cardiovascular health, diabetes, all that stuff. But it just has a lot of calories for a small amount. So we're dabbing a little bit into the salsa to add a little bit of healthy fat in there, but oh, sorry.
How much are you trying to serve me here today?
I don't know. I thought we were putting both on the same plate. So yeah, I'm so glad that you're using a little bit of avocado today. Here at the Pritikin Center, it's like rainbows and unicorns. All you gotta do is show up and everything is planned and prepared for you. But when you get home, get ready for those lions and tigers and bears. Whether you're racing out the door to work and skipping breakfast, or glued to the Zoom call and no time for lunch, or maybe you're in retirement and every day is a holiday. The solution? You need a plan. My name is Kara. I've been a registered dietitian for over 20 years, and I've helped thousands of clients create sustainable plans that stick. At the Pritikin Center, we offer a one-to-one remote nutrition coaching program with me. Together, we will create a customized plan that addresses your lifestyle, your health markers, and any of those derailers that lead you astray. Support and accountability can be the difference between finding success and constantly chasing after it. Sign up today for more information about Pritikin at Home Concierge Nutrition Program. Are we good for next week? Are you good same time, 2 o'clock next Wednesday? That work for you? So, one of the things when people do come to the Pritikin Center, they ask me a lot of questions like, I've read or I've heard that avocados are really healthy. They're good for my heart. They actually can help me lose weight. That's what I read. I don't really see that here. And, my explanation is that not everybody's created equal in how they eat. And some people like large volume of food. So avocado is not a food that you can have large volume on. So we just basically choose to use more low calorie dense food items here. So volume is less of an issue. But I always ask the question, like, how do you do your avocado? How do you do your nuts? We can work them in if they're not really a trigger for you.
Yeah.
And also the other thing I always tell people about things like avocados is use them as an accessory, right? They're not the main part of your meal, but they really do help intensify the flavor and add some good health punch to your meal, but it's just a little bit. A little bit goes a long way, and you won't get a whole lot of calories and fat from the avocado if you use a little bit. Okay, we're using the peppers now.
So you get a little bite from the poblano pepper. You get some flavor from the bell pepper as well. And of course, you get some more color from using the red. If you want to use other peppers in here, you can put some fresh jalapenos or even serranos. But here we're using poblano, which is a little bit spicy in comparison to bell pepper, which is not spicy at all. But it's not on the level of a jalapeno. It's not that hot.
Right.
So,
and yeah, so you got to know what kick you like, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And honestly, the more the kick, the spicier it is, it actually boosts your metabolism a little bit. Every time my husband has anything spicy, his whole entire face sweats. So it's kind of like a little bit of a workout when you're eating really spicy food.
Workout for your metabolism.
Out for your, it sort of is. It really kicks the metabolism a little bit, and really good anti-inflammatory properties in actually the onion too. I was just reading about cutting an onion.
And?
So I'm going to see if you do it the same way that I just watched the video.
Probably not. There's so many different ways you can cut onion. Usually people leave the root here at the
She
end.
cut it in the middle, like.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And then she just diced it down.
I'm going to slice it this way. Keep it all together. Start the knife kind of flat like this here, and then kind of curve around like that, right?
Okay.
So all at the same time, I'm kind of pinching this, right? So it stays together. Here now you can get that small, diced or minced.
Right, and you
red
can
onion.
change however thick or small you want it.
Yeah.
Right?
For this fruit salsa, I'm looking to get them pretty fine like that, like a minced little texture. I don't even need that much onion. So I'm going to pull some back. Actually, you won't even use
And
all
to
that.
me, I don't know about you, Chef, but to me, onions have, especially the red onion, has like a bit of a salty flavor.
Yeah, a little bit.
So it gives, if you like
my eyes
salt.
salty.
Are you burning? Your eyes are burning?
Burn up.
You need the onion goggles.
Just from that one onion.
I know, it's so funny.
I was telling some guests who were here the other day when we were doing a cooking class that my very first job was cutting 50-pound bags of onions at a pizzeria for onion rings. So I'd have to peel them and then I have to slice them. And by the time I was done, I was just bawling my eyes out, And one time I actually did bring swimming goggles in, and they all made fun of me. They didn't really work that well because I was like sweating.
You need
they fogged up. And
oh my God.
It wasn't.
But they should come up with something for that because it is an issue. Like the eyes tear from the onion.
For sure. Now,
so you're putting the acid in.
Yep. So what can help you a little bit with the onion is you can refrigerate it a little bit. That can help you. But it's not like
that helps with the bite a little bit.
Yeah. When you're doing lemons, I like to do the cut side up. That way the seeds stay inside. These are pretty juicy lemons.
You taught me that. I've been doing that at home, actually. I taught my daughter that. She's doing it now, yeah. Yeah, I'm turning her into a little chef, mini chef. Oh my God, my mouth is like already watering. I'm so excited about the salsa.
So of course you can use a fork or an actual citrus juicer to go and kind of open those segments up and get them a little bit more.
A little bit more. Do you put any zest in there?
I'm not putting any zest today. No, I mean, you can,
today.
But certainly it'll make the citrus pop even more. I think there's
more
a lot,
intense
flavor.
flavor.
There's a lot of flavors going on in here already, so I don't really need it. So you got to get out of there.
Okay, so we squeeze the lemon juice first, and then we put all the stuff in.
Only so if any seeds go in there, I can find them, right? Just doing over a separate bowl so we don't lose all the seeds.
This chef, he's thinking of everything.
So you got lots of color going on in there. Let's finish this up by adding
so beautiful.
Something you need to balance out the citrus, right? Or the acid from the citrus. A little bit of apple juice concentrate, not to make it sweet. There's fruit in there, which is sweet, right? But that will initially help kind of balance that out.
Balance the acid out.
A little bit more flavor going on once we add the cilantro and parsley, and that's it. I mean, it's a very simple thing. I mean, you can see, it is what it is. I mean, minus this citrus, you kind of can visually see what's everything in there.
Yeah, and then you just add whatever fruit suits your fancy, right? Like you said, I would definitely, I think I would put a little cantaloupe in there. That sounded really good.
Dragon fruit's a nice one because it looks very vibrant, like a red dragon fruit. There's so many different ways you can make this. So parsley, cilantro, bunch it up in a tight ball. We'll chop it up real fine, and we'll add that right on into there.
So, Chef, interesting, as I've been going to the grocery store lately, because it is summer, they're showcasing all these different types of salsas in the grocery stores. And I know it's easy to go to the grocery store and just pick up your salsa, but I'm telling you, as you can see, it's not that hard to make it yourself. And a lot of times they're going to add a lot of sugar and a lot of salt to the salsa. And if that is not, in your wheelhouse right now because you're trying to watch your health a little bit, I'm just strongly going to advise you to make your own. It's really easy and the taste is so much fresher and better. So that is the reason why I'm not a huge fan of the store-bought salsas. You just got to be really careful with the ingredients.
Yeah, make your own salsa. It's
make
not
your
hard
own
to do.
salsa.
And like you said earlier, these last in the fridge for about 3 days or so. Depending on how much acid you're putting into there, also depending on what fruit you're using, it may last you an extra day or so, or even a day less. So we'll top this off.
So now we're going to make our plain snapper look really snazzy with the salsa.
We just did a little snapper blackened with the fruit salsa, but imagine this, a nice little bed of black rice or red rice, do some steamed broccolini, it visually looks attractive, right? So just imagine these things in your mind. Of course, just having snapper by itself with some fruit salsa isn't your exact, ideal entree. Always loaded up with lots of healthy vegetables and
fruits, and it really helps you avoid all those thick, creamy, high-fat, high-salt sauces that we just don't need in our lives.
There's lots of things you will teach you here. Become the Pritikin.
Yeah.
Come check us out sometime. Take
Can't
care.
wait.
Folks, if you like this video and you want to see another cooking demonstration, click here. If you want to listen to our podcast, click here.